Alright everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault, and it's been over a year since Dragon Age the Veilguard came out. Temperatures have cooled a little bit on it. I recently saw a lot of people celebrating it on Twitter after a full year and its failure at launch. We're going to talk about that game one more time today, but I've kind of stepped back a little bit from it. I can look at it from a more analytical point of view. Let's cue to music and we'll do it.
Captain Beefy, OG nightmare, can't get near him. It ain't fair. Let him on your six, so you're gonna get popped. Incoming headshot. Boom, you're dry.
Best part is, while Tosh is pounding that snake's nose, she's still holding the ruby in her other hand. Maker's panties, I was so proud. Ah, shit. They're still holding it. Sorry.
What are you doing?
Pulling a barb.
All right, so we're going to talk about this one, like how the Veilguard tripped over its own message. And that's really, I think, the core of what this game did. Now, let me just say this up front so the comment section doesn't immediately explode on me. I'm not hating on representation here. I'm not hating on LGBT characters in general. And I'm not going to pretend that Dragon Age was ever a medieval Catholic dating sim or anything like that, okay? But what we're going to talk about is how institutionalized identity politics, marketing-first storytelling, and HR-approved writing helped sink the Veilguard. Not because inclusion exists, but because it replaced the actual craft of the game. And yes, that distinction does matter. And no, Twitter's not going to just, talk about that. So Dragon Age used to be about character, not checklists. Earlier Dragon Age games didn't include representation. I don't care how much you want to argue that it was always like the Veilguard, it was not. It just had people. Sexuality, race, belief, identity, they were all present, they were all messy, and they were all rooted in character motivation and world building. Nobody paused the plot to explain any of these things. What a character represented, how progressive they were, or which contemporary committee signed off on them. Now, the Veilguard doesn't introduce characters, it files them. You don't discover who someone is, you're briefed on it. So it's almost like the writers were terrified you might accidentally enjoy a character, but for the wrong reason.
Isabella's apology worked for you, Tosh? Yeah. I didn't expect the Lords to care about the stuff. Me being non-binary.
Here's where the problem begins. Not in the game itself, but in how it was sold. Marketing didn't say there's a grim fantasy story about corruption, power, and sacrifice. It said, this is our most inclusive Dragon Age ever. But that's corporate code for please argue about this instead of asking about gameplay, writing, or RPG systems. Now, when identity becomes a headline, everything else becomes secondary. This includes the tone, the narrative cohesion, and yes, the actual fun of the game. Now, whether you agree with the messaging or not, it framed the game as an ideology project, not a fantasy RPG. And once you do that, you lose at least half, if not more, of your audience before the game even launches. And let me tell you, you lost me immediately. I can't stand that kind of garbage. It's the worst way to market a game, a movie, or a television show. As soon as I hear it, I check out. This is the LGBT question that nobody wants to ask. It's an uncomfortable truth, and nobody in games media is going to say it out loud. Representation itself isn't controversial. Instrumental representation? Well, that is. LGBT players don't want characters who exist to make the press releases look good, and non-LGBT players don't want lectures disguised as dialogue trees. It's the worst, and everyone loses when a character feels like they're just a vessel for a message, they're immune to criticism, or they're structurally incapable of moral failure. We saw this in Veilguard. Too many characters felt sanitized in that game. Not human, they just felt like checklists, of bullet points. And it was awful. Now, there's no sharp edges on them, no genuine contradictions, the moments when you're allowed to think, or there was no moments when you were allowed to think, this guy sucks. because someone, somewhere, was afraid of a Reddit thread.
Thanks to Tosh.
That's why we recruited her.
Actually, Tosh uses them for themselves now.
They asked us to let folks know, so now you do.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
Thank you for telling me. That's why we recruited them.
I see this more and more and more in modern gaming, movies, and television shows, and its writers have stopped taking risks. I don't know if that's a generational thing, that the old guard is retiring and getting out of those positions, and we've let a new generation in, and that generation is scared. I don't know the reasoning for it, but great Dragon Age characters, they used to be cruel, hypocritical, wrong. Occasionally they were unlikable. Now the writing just feels like it's been run through the legal department, HR department, PR, then they put it out on Twitter, and then they go back to legal again just to make sure everything's cool. Conflicts muted, belief systems politely coexist, and villains feel less evil and more like misaligned stakeholders. Yeah, the result is a world where nobody truly clashes, and therefore nothing feels earned. And in trying not to offend anyone, the game forgot how to challenge you. And the game should challenge you as well as be fun. Here's what really killed things, and that's the feedback loop. And we see this over and over and over again. It kills franchises, right? Criticism of the game gets labeled as bigotry. Fans stop giving honest feedback. Developers stop trusting the audience. So the only people left talking are the marketers, the activists, and journalists who haven't played an RPG since 2013. This creates a feedback loop where the solution to every failure is, next time, double down, but louder. And that's not progress. That's how franchises quietly die while insisting they're morally victorious. Developers have got to start shutting their mouths. They've got to stop it on social media. If somebody criticizes your game and it's a legitimate criticism, then take it into account, because the guy criticizing your game is a potential player. Okay. Don't call him a bigot. Don't call him a Nazi. Don't call him a ist or a phobe or whatever. Really think about what they're saying. Now, there are some people that are going to come out there with just completely negative garbage that you just don't even want to account for. Ignore them. Don't fight back. Don't push back, because people are going to see you push back and they're going to say, "Oh, this guy's a tool. I'm not playing this game." And I will take a game off of my wish list over a single tweet. I will do it. I will take it off of it, because I'm not supporting people that are like that. And I'm not alone. What could have saved the Veilguard? Less diversity? Maybe, maybe not. I'll tell you what really could have helped. Better writing, braver character flaws, less corporate messaging, and more confidence in the characters. You know, representation works best when the writers don't flinch. Let the characters be wrong. Let them disagree. Let the world be cruel again. And let nobody be above criticism. And don't push an agenda. That's the absolute worst. People were pushed in a single direction in this game, no matter what decision you made. And that was terrible. Fantasy isn't supposed to be safe. It's supposed to be revealing, exciting, mysterious, dark, kind of. Dragon Age Veilguard, it didn't fail because it included LGBT characters. It faltered because it treated identity as a shield and a selling point, rather than as a texture and a truth. It wasn't an aspect of a character, it defined the character. And when ideology replaces storytelling, everyone notices, even when they pretend not to. If you enjoyed that game, great. Happy for you. If you didn't, you're probably not crazy. In fact, you're probably in the majority of people. And if you're about to call me a bigot, at least let me finish the video first, all right? Peace out, guys. Have a good one.
So, we're together now.
I hope so.
I don't know. I've never done this before. I've had sex. I meant being someone's
Lover.